So.
Yeah, Judgy's going to make it. He's going to be fine. He's a tough kid. Put a scare, I know, into certainly us and the fans, but he's alert, and we got him in good hands, and he may even come back to his house tonight. So we're all thinking of him, but he's going to be fine. So that's the most important thing. As far as the game, just a wonderful win. I mean, it wasn't easy. That team's good. You know, they're where they're at for a reason, and this was reminiscent of the LAFC game and the Colorado game, where it was a real group effort, and everybody showed up and put a pretty good performance on. Certainly in transition, we're getting into these moments, and maybe we could make it easier on ourselves by being cleaner and more clinical in those moments. Because it's happening quite a bit, and we were a bit wasteful in that area. But as far as guys defending and understanding the game plan, I can't say enough about that group.
We'll go ahead and start with questions. Right here.
Hey Ben, just wanted to ask you about the transition game. I saw y'all were having success with long through balls, even on the penalty play. Long through ball that led to that dangerous play. I saw you give a high five to Resh, and then even Guillermo got through on some of those long balls from the back.
Sure. Well, they press very well. So if they're going to go even numbers at times, we have to push them back and play some longer balls. And that. I thought Matty Bogusz did a good job of that, Guillermo. But sometimes it's about securing it when you defend, in a lower block at times. Can you get 2-3 quick passes when you win it and get out quickly? And that's the challenge in the way we played tonight against a very good team. And I thought we did a good job of arriving quickly and securing the ball when we win it and finding real transition moments. Again, we were just wasteful with them, and it took. We have to continue to against really good teams. If we're going to be in a low block like that, we have to reward ourselves in some of those transition moments. But again, a lot of good performances, and the Giaggi thing. Coming out, I thought Bouzet had a great game. I thought he came in and was really sharp, pressed out well. Connected a bunch of passes, broke up plays. He's a winner. So that was a really nice addition to the group. And then I thought the subs late did what they needed to do. Hector was poised and was patient and broke them down. And ultimately we get the goal that I think we deserved a goal in this game. So it's just a good win. Now we got to rest up and patch everybody up, because it's a quick turnaround, another 2 days for a Tuesday game in St. Louis. So no rest. We can enjoy it tonight, but we're back to work tomorrow, recovering and excited about the quarterfinals, and then we finish up with LA.
And how do you calm nerves down of the team after something like that happens? What do you tell the team at half? Is it win it for our teammate? Is it that simple as that?
No. I didn't get into it too much at halftime. Certainly keeping updates on Giaggi, but he was alert, and when he was entered the ambulance, he was, he was looking pretty good, and he was aware, and he was talking, but it was a scary moment, and those types of moments always put this into perspective in some ways. And these guys are athletes, and they put their bodies in harm's way all the time, and you see it, and it's just not stuff you want to see, especially someone obviously you see every day and you love, but he's going to be fine. He's a tough kid.
Thank you, man. Congrats on the win.
Thanks.
Juan, right here.
Hello, Coach. Congratulations on the win. I wanted to ask you about Olsen, because today, obviously, in general, the season hasn't been the best for him in terms of scoring goals, but today he was very involved in the build-up, made some good switches of play.
He was great.
Yeah, can you tell me a little bit more about what you saw from his performance?
He's a little snake bit. I mean, all of a sudden he finally. I thought the last 3-4 games he's played, he's been at a pretty good level as far as all the things I talk about. His defensive pressure and how he leads the line and his connections, his hold-up play has been much better, and he's playing, at a pretty good level. It's just, in front of goal, it's not happening. And finally, he's in the right spot. He gets his rebound, and it's offside. So he just has to keep plugging away, and he's disappointed. Strikers want to get that off their back, and I know he's a little disappointed tonight, but he helped us in a big way.
And for your defense today, a clean sheet is obviously one of the best offenses in MLS. The red card changes things, but overall, how do you think the Lovelock played today?
I would say even, up until that point, they don't 3 shots on target, so yes, the red card certainly helped, but I thought up until that point the game was somewhat controlled. They're definitely dangerous, and we had to absorb and defend the box at times, but that you're always going to do that against them. The way they swing you side to side, they get a lot of service, a lot of numbers. So I thought the defense held up all night long. The shutouts helped. Bondi was good, made a big save there on a deflection, and just everybody did their part.
Thank you.
David, right here.
Coach, congratulations on the win. Congratulations on the clean sheet. This being the last match before home match of the World Cup break, how would you assess these home games?
This home game or the home games?
Just overall, leading up to this break,
We've won them. We've won more than we've lost. So that's good. Maybe these people come pay money to see us, and we try to entertain, and we want them cheering at the end. And nothing makes me happier than walking around and seeing happy faces and proud of the group's effort. And that that this team is resonating, I think, with them. It's a different way we're going about things. I get that, but again, I think there's and we're starting to figure ourselves out, which is nice. That's the first time we've been in a similar lineup. We're starting to figure out who our starters are, and staying in a consistent structure, which I think is helping these guys.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Alex in the back.
Hi, Alex.
Good evening.
It's not a beer.
Good evening, sir. You can share.
HEB sparkling water.
Coach, good evening, and forgive me for being late, and if you've been asked this, I apologize beforehand. Defensively, talk to us about what you had in mind, because I think it worked out perfectly, and some people may not see the art behind it. From my limited perspective, you were spot on in the way you approached this match, similar to LAFC. Talk to us about that piece, because maybe people miss that and are more focused on the goal and the red card.
I know it's, there's an art to defending, and it starts with commitment and selflessness and willing, to follow a game plan and being okay with that and being comfortable at times absorbing and being a mid block and at times low block, and understanding that we can. Maybe that's the best version of us right in this moment. Is that where we're going to live? I'm not sure. But right now, in that moment, against this opponent, the coaches and players, bought into what this needed to, what this needed to look like. And there's some other teams that aren't going to look like this. So each game's different in how we're going to go about it. But this was more like the LAFC game, you're right, and more like the Colorado game, in that everybody came to play. Everybody showed up and had a certain selflessness about them on the defensive end, and was really committed for each other. And then in transition, we're dangerous. We break out pretty well. And as I said, you weren't here, but I said we were wasteful in some of those moments, though. 3v2s, 2v1s, 1v1s. We have to continue to work on, if we are in a game like that, being more efficient in some of those transition moments.
Coach, the last time we see you before the World Cup break, LAFC 3 points, Vancouver 3 points. Do you think yet about where you stand relative to the rest of this league? These are important wins. I think the league, if they haven't already, are certainly going to take notice. Does that put any more pressure on you?
Oh, I don't know if that's possible. I think we're all living in this. We all think that we're all more important than we are, and this job and winning is everything. So we all live with this place. I don't have any more expectations because we won, or our job is to continue to pick up points, and then and advance in the Open Cup. And that's it. We'll just go game to game. We got to rest up, get this Open Cup game out of the way, and then we go to LA. So two tough opponents, and I'm just looking forward to getting these guys rested and going to we're going to St. Louis. We've been traveling a lot. We've got a lot of games. So yeah, looking forward to that one. The guys are already talking about it in the locker room. It's a big game for us. It's a big game for them. There's not a lot of trophies out there, and it's one we'd love to have.
Thank you, Coach.
Right here, front.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
First of all. Talk about, we all talked about this before. You want to make this place a fortress. Have you got to that point right now? You see the supporters coming out in mass, like tonight's match tonight?
It's going better. It's going better than it did last year at home. And I think we brought in some. I've talked about personality in this group, and it was we brought that in. We brought experience in. We're deeper than we were last year. Again, we're better, in the final third, I think, and finish it. We're more dangerous in transition, and I think we have, a better, a better box defending. So there's a lot of improvements in this group, but we got a long way to go. We got a long way to go, and this wacky season that we're living in, we're gonna have one more league game, and an Open Cup game, and then we go away for 2 months, and then we don't have a game for another 2 months. It's a wacky. So then you go through this whole preseason to kind of solidify and reinvent yourself, and you're going to bring in a player or two. So it's tricky. We're really focused on the next 2 games and finishing out in the strong.
Going into this World Cup break, how are you planning to keep with the players and get them focused on the players that are not playing in the World Cup? How do you plan on keeping everybody focused on when the season starts and do the break? Well,
essentially, they're gone for a few weeks, and then we report back, and we have another preseason. So it's like 2 seasons. We have a preseason into this first half, and then we're going to report, and we have 5 weeks to get them ready for, I think, DC United, the first game back here. So this is, again, we're doing this for the first time, but we know how to do a preseason. We know how to get ready for, the second half of the year. The second half of the year is going to be Saturday, Wednesday, Saturdays, a lot of midweek games, so we got to continue to build depth because we're going to need it.
And the heat.
And the heat. That's fine. We could use some heat.
Thank you.
Good?
Max in the back over here.
Good evening, Ben. Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Taking out postseason games and taking out games where you've played for trophies, you've obviously been on this club for a long time. When it comes to regular season matches, the twists and the turns that this game had with the injuries and the penalties and then obviously how it ended, is this probably one of the wilder regular season games you can remember since you've been here?
It was up there. There's a lot of twists and turns and a lot of drama to this one. And when you have those nights here at home, it's nice to be on the right end when it all is said and done. And it's an easy game to it's an easy game to lose in that way because of the way how much quality they brought to the game. So again, I give our guys a lot of credit for staying focused, understanding how important these points were, how to go about it, following the game plan, and then just staying with it. I thought they did a very good job throughout the night.
And it seems practically since match day 1 that Guilherme has established himself as the offensive face of your club. And throughout this season, he has had these swings of moments where he is now maybe, quote unquote, maybe bailed you guys out, but in many ways has seized control of games. With how the offensive attack was tonight, what makes him, watching him in practice, watching him in match, what makes his heartbeat just so slow in those moments where he feels like he can just finally break through and take over again?
I think if you look at him, he jumped on the map here, and nobody really knew who he was his first couple games. And I think he caught a couple teams by surprise, like, well, this guy can play. He's nasty. And then teams started to circle him. And we started manipulating him and moving him in different spots and still trying to figure out where he can have the most success. And he kind of went through a little bit of a dip. But I think since we've had some consistency in his ability to kind of build some relationships out there, and the group in general to have some consistency over the last month has really helped put him in these opportunities in the pocket or in these isolation moments to have success. And you asked about his offensive. There's not a lot he can't do. Right foot, left foot. He can provide. He can serve. He's good in the air. He's a great athlete and he's a great soccer player. So it's not about that and his talent. We all know how talented he is. It's just can we put him in the best position and situation for our group.
And lastly, for me, matches like what you had against Salt Lake are going to happen, at least from a defensive standpoint. And you guys have continuously proven that your defense can continually win you games if you guys have the offense to step up and have the opportunity to make goals. What do you feel like this defense has proved? Do you feel like this defense has proven that you guys can stop practically any team in this league? And now with what you've now done in LA, now against Vancouver?
That would be a silly comment for me, but I think they're starting to believe that if we collectively are a good defensive team, and that's more important than what I believe. We put them in a position and have asked them to maybe absorb and maybe do a little bit more. And a Guilherme or Matty Bogusz, Ponce, we're asking them to do more than a lot of attackers do. And they're buying into that because they're seeing results. Again, is that how we're going to always look? I'm not sure. We have a whole preseason to kind of figure this out. But in this moment in time, against certain opponents, that's how we're going to go about it. But that doesn't mean we won't break down low pressure when someone comes in here and it's hot and we're going to have the ball the whole time. So it's just each game is really different. But in this moment, it's nice to have a group that is willing to do the work and that we're able to score and be dangerous in transition.
Right over here.
Good evening, everybody. Coach Oscar Rivera here for Bobin's team. Congratulations for winning a very tough game. I believe you had a very hard opponent in front. For how the game was developing before the red card, I think after that, really that gave your team and your players to have that consistency until they achieve that goal. How much do you think that red card contributed for your team to change the dynamic?
Yeah, it didn't hurt, that's for sure. But I thought up until that point, I thought I think the coaches did a good job. I think the players did a good job of fixing a few things that hurt us in the first half. And I thought it was, up until that point, I thought we looked a lot sharper with the ball. And we had a couple good looks as well. So it certainly helps when a guy goes off. You get they had to absorb there down the stretch, and Guilherme made a play. So yeah, it helped.
Okay, last call, going once, going twice. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll have Jonathan Bond, almost immediate expression.